So I'm gonna tell you this. When because we've all been around fake hype guys, right? We've all been around the show guy, the guy that's like, Spicoli, where you're like not sure if it's.
I wrote that in my note.
Right, where if it's real or not real, is that really him? Does he really go to bed at night like that? He does. That is real. That's not an act. That's not for show. That's the way his circuits are wired.
So getting him to come around, was that indicative of the buy-in you generally needed as you tried to change the culture here?
Yeah, which surprised me. A guy that wants to win so badly, that loves Texas so passionately, that took so long to give us his heart. It was odd to me. But once he did, man, it was, again, that's my dude,
Do you let your mind drift to when you see the hair flowing out of the helmet in practice to cutting it off on a stage someday?
No.
No.
I don't let my mind drift except to tomorrow, to going 1-0 tomorrow, Pete.
All right.
When he said he loved you,
one thing that he said that I thought was interesting was, I asked him, I said, are you convinced that there's enough guys in the room that are as passionate as you? And he's like starting to shake her. He said he feels like all the cliques have melted away, feels like all the groups have melted away, and that there truly is a one group. I don't know what his word is, but that's what he was. All the cliques have melted away. Do you see that? Have you seen that in the room, that you've got more buy-in now than you've ever?
I feel it, and I've been told that from guys that I trust.
Right.
But I kind of let the locker room be the player's sanctuary, so I'm not necessarily in there all the time. But I feel it for sure.
Because the bowl game truly seems like a seminal moment, line in the sand of your program.
I would argue the 3 weeks leading up to the bowl game was the preparation. Right. These guys let their hair down. They were looser. They had fun. We didn't work any less. We didn't work any less hard. I think they embraced it with a different attitude, and we had more fun. We got to know each other. It's like, dude, let down the shield. It's like, just stop for once, please. If you want to win this bowl game, this is like the the line in the sand, if you will, and for the most part they did.
Are you going to secure the bag this year or not?
You got a question.
That was
that was funny.
Yeah,
I'm not. It wasn't mean-spirited. I just can't. I'm not going to answer.
He's being polite.
I know he is.
He's being polite. When Breckyn, when you guys had your showdown or whatever, he comes to you and says, "Hey, I love you." He kind of, it's like, what did that moment mean to you? And was that another kind of indication of, I got through to him, I'm getting through to everybody else?
Yeah, I think so. It came at a really awkward time in the third quarter of the Oklahoma State game.
It was on the sideline.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell the story for those of you that just left the Breckyn Hager experience. So.
It's a good band name.
We're in.
I'm hungover.
We're in the middle of the game, the Oklahoma State game. Obviously, it's really close, top 10 team, and he and I had obviously some knockdown dragouts early in the year and in the off season, and we hadn't spoken much to each other. And he sacked the quarterback. It was a great play. I think it was on third down, and he jogs off the field. And it's something out of a movie. It's the craziest thing. And I give him just a little low five, like, hey, good job. Good job. And he stopped in his tracks, takes his helmet off, looks at me, and he goes, "Coach, I'm sorry." I said, "For what?" I started looking out on the field. Is there a flag? Is there, did he face mask somebody? What's going on? And I said, "Breckyn, what? Sorry for what?" He goes, "For being such an a-hole. I love you, Coach." He gives me a big hug right there, and it's, all right, Breck, I got a game to coach here, bud.
That's a first.
There you go.
So
Whoa.
Could he and Todd Orlando be the oddest buddy movie of all time?
That would be a good buddy movie, man.
They are two different cats now.
Yes.
I think anybody with Breckyn's a good buddy.
Yes.
That's pretty
Tom,
Excuse me.
Fair to compare Chris to Puna, or is that a...
No, that's not fair. Different guy, different skill set. You know, Puna obviously wider, stockier, longer arm. He was really built differently. You know, Chris is a little bit more gregarious, which is not saying much since Puna was this much gregarious. I would say the way that they lead is similar. Very quiet, but very humble, but very tough. They come to work every day, but to put that kind of, I mean, you're talking about the defensive lineman of the year in the conference. I wouldn't go that far, but there are similarities, sure.
What do you expect from Chris on your line this year?
Steadiness, consistency. You know, he doesn't need to be Puna forward. Puna had a knack for disrupting things in the backfield that I don't know that. Again, I mentioned 3 nose guards in my life. You know, Casey Hampton, Ed Oliver, and Puna Ford, and so he's got to play within the scheme. He's got to lead that front. You know, because he's got some characters up there. And make sure that those guys stay together. And, you know, he's got to produce, certainly, but, you know, we just need him to be steady.
Is there one area that's going to surprise people? D-line or...
Say it again?
Is there one area of the team where people are really going to be surprised? We're much better there. D-line, tight end, anything.
I mean, have to be tight end, right? I mean, we're
Low bar.
What'd you say? Low bar?
bar.
You said it, not me.
Yeah.
We did not produce very well at that position last year for a variety of reasons, and
Right.
none the least of which that we didn't really even have any on our roster when we got here.
Right.
So having Andrew Beck healthy, having Cade Brewer bigger and healthy and stronger, having Reese Lato, you know, eligible. I mean, we're gonna be as good as Texas probably has been in a long time around here.
Coach, can you talk about, has there been a conscious effort this year in this class to recruit outside of the state, build the brand a little bit outside of just pure talent evaluation?
No, not a conscious effort at all. I mean, it's just kind of the way things have shaken out. You know, again, if we had our druthers, we would sign our entire signing class from the state of Texas. That's assuming that, again, our philosophy is, you know, every year you're going to sign different numbers of different positions, right? So my analogy is, okay, so let's say in this class you have to sign 4 linebackers, right? And there's 4 linebackers in the state of Texas that you can win a national championship with based on your evaluation. The 5th one, maybe not, probably needs senior film on, whatever the case may be. Okay, great. You go get the first 2 committed. Well, the next one, maybe he grew up wearing maroon pajamas and mom and dad, you know, have rings and stuff like that. The other one, you know, for whatever reason, you know, is Catholic and wants to go to Notre Dame, and it's been his dream to go to Notre Dame. Great. Okay. You still got to sign 2. And if the 5th best one, you still got to sign 4. And if the 5th best one in the state, you're not quite sure is national championship worthy, then that's when you cast your net out of state. And I think that's what we've done this year, and it just so happens that net has snagged a few more early than it has in previous years. But the philosophy is never going to change in terms of we want to sign an entire class full of Texas high school football players. But we owe it to the University of Texas to sign national championship NFL quality players as well. And so the balancing act then there becomes who you're going to get, and then if you're not going to get that level of player, then where can you go find that level of player?
You know, this is the 50th anniversary of the Wishbone.
The 50th year?
Yeah. Well,
I did not know
I
that.
don't imagine you ever played in a Wishbone. I assume you heard of the Wishbone.
I
You're
know
a
the
little-
Wishbone.
you're a little young.
Yes.
So,
It's playing on loop on enough classic highlight films in our office for me to see it.
is that the most revolutionary thing in affect football, you think, the Wishbone? Or
Say it again.
is it one of the most revolutionary
Oh,
things?
the most, I don't know. I mean, forward pass was pretty revolutionary. Split ends were pretty revolutionary.
But are most teams
Zone read was pretty revolutionary, you know.
people are still using the Wishbone
Or
elements.
versions of it, yeah.
So it hadn't completely gone away.
No.
Just not 100%.
Doesn't look like the
Yeah.
Wishbone, but
Right.
yeah, there's
And you
definitely.
can't really be 100% committed to
Yeah.
it if you're probably
Well,
five.
I mean, if you ask Navy what
Yeah.
what offense do you run, they'll tell you the flex bone.
Right.
You know, it's a version of the wishbone with the two halfbacks flexed.
And Georgia Tech, I don't know what
Georgia
they call
Tech, same, they
theirs.
call it the flex
Do
bone.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still there.
Yep.
Coach, would you like to, or what are your thoughts on potentially the Texas A&M Texas game coming back, and how soon do you think it's realistic?
How soon? I don't know. You know, I've gone on record numerous times saying I hope we can figure it out. You know, we play 9 conference games. We're obviously going to play one Power 5 opponent. Obviously, in the last two years, we're playing 2 Power 5 opponents. The University of Texas doesn't play a rival at home. You know, it's very odd, right? Our rival we play every year in Dallas at a neutral site. So if we're going to schedule one Power 5 non-conference game a year, why not make it an hour and a half away? It cuts down on travel. Our fans would be there. It'd sell out every game. And the precedent has been set, right? Clemson, South Carolina play every year. Florida State play every year. Georgia Tech plays every year. Iowa State plays every year. Notre Dame, USC plays every year. Yeah, well, that's a bad one because they're not in state. But there's examples of teams that are in state, but in different conferences that play every year. And so, I've been on record, and I will continue to go on record. But again, other than in settings like this, it's not something we think much about.
If you could change
we gotta
anything
wrap
about
up, last
game
one.
flow, what would it be?
Game
Game flow in terms of, like, this morning we were talking about time of, like, length of games being kind of too long. If it was up to you.
Instant replay. You know, we've got to streamline that, I think, a little bit, and you know, there's got to be a mechanism for. I get the I guess maybe weight the magnitude of the play. You know, does a whether it's 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 6 in the second quarter, is that really worth 4 minutes of everybody's time to say, no, the guy stepped out of bounds here versus he stepped out of bounds here? I don't think so. You know, I think we need to use a little bit of discretion maybe from the replay booth guys on when they buzz and when they don't. I think that would be the biggest thing.
How does it affect coaching? I was asking Danny, he said it's a buzzkill.
It is. It does. It hurts momentum quite a bit. Good.
Thanks.
Thank you.